So Trump should pardon Assange. He should also pardon Snowden. And Tulsi Gabbard agrees. Tulsi Gabbard actually set in a tweet retweeting her past video asking for the pardoning of whistleblowers. So she said, since you're giving pardons to people, please consider pardoning those who at great personal sacrifice expose the deception and criminality of those in the deep state. She used the words deep state. Which is very
well, she's signaling to Trump, because a lot of Trumpers will pick up, oh, look, Tulsi's talking about the deep state.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
she knows the audience she's playing to, at times. Sometimes she does. But she was like, hello. She just said a buzzword there. People are like, yeah. So when we show up at a rally to cover it, and you're like, hey, guys, WikiLeaks, remember, it gave you the election. What about telling Donald Trump he should pardon Julian Assange? A lot of Trumpers out there in those rallies say,
Lori
you know
Jones has done that very thing, and she has spoken to them, and she engages in conversation, at least on that issue. But this is just a reminder of her October 6th, her October 6th video.
You want to play it? Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Never have too much Tulsi.
Every single one of us as Americans are guaranteed basic fundamental rights and freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution. But we cannot take these freedoms for granted. I've introduced legislation to stand up for and to protect brave whistleblowers who've come forward to expose illegal actions within our own government or egregious abuses of power, and to reform the Espionage Act to make sure that if a whistleblower is prosecuted under the Espionage Act, that they will have their fair day in court, something that is currently not allowable under the law as it stands today. So first, I introduced HRES 1162 with my colleague, Congressman Matt Gaetz, that very simply calls on our government to drop all charges against Edward Snowden for the actions that he took in the public interest to expose a mass government surveillance program on all Americans that violates our privacy and civil liberties, and that courts deemed illegal more than once. I also introduced HRES 1175 with my colleague, Congressman Tom Massey, which calls for the same action, for the government to drop all charges against Julian Assange, who also acted in the public interest as he published information to expose lies and egregious abuses of power in our own government. Last but not least, I introduced a bill, H.R. 8452, to reform the Espionage Act. Now, Daniel Ellsberg was the first person prosecuted under the 1917 Espionage Act for his act of bravery in releasing the Pentagon Papers to the Washington Post to publish classified documents that exposed the lies that were being told to the American people about what was really happening in the Vietnam War. Now, Snowden, Assange, and others are being prosecuted under this same Espionage Act. But as Daniel Ellsberg knows well, under current law, none of them are allowed to speak to the intent of their actions in court. My bill changes that. I'm urging my colleagues in Congress to stand up for the American people, to stand up for our freedoms, and pass this critical legislation now.
Yeah.
Okay, so, as a reminder, none of her colleagues, besides the ones she mentioned, none of the progressives, none of the squad, none of anybody on the supposed left, supported this legislation for whistleblowers. Definitely not that many people on the right either, except the ones she mentioned. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at in America. It's like we don't pay attention to press freedoms. And she also had, of course, the before the Securing Our Americans Elections Act, and then she had the other one on ballot harvesting, which was also not supported by anybody on the progressive end. It was actually framed as a right-wing talking point and a right-wing bill, when it actually wasn't. It would have stopped a lot of what happened in this election.
Those 5 bills that you just mentioned, the 3 that you mentioned, the Congresswoman, and those other 2, fam, with eliminating the ballot harvesting and the Elections Integrity Act to make sure that our elections have some form of audits, paper ballots, and all that. She had the best bill by far. These 3 acts over here, which just kind of changing the Espionage Act, where a defendant can't even defend himself in court to talk about these things. You know what I'm saying? Like Daniel Ellsberg had the same handcuffs on. I mean, these are big bills. Freeing Snowden, dropping the charges on Snowden, Julian Assange. This is meaty bills. So when I hear people say, oh, that Bernie sold out, Tulsi sold out, and this, listen, Tulsi has not made a lot of good decisions, but once again, she's coming with some serious bills that nobody else is paying attention to. And it's a shame that she's got to look to Thomas Massie on the right, Matt Gaetz on the right, Rand Paul on the right. Where are the people on the left who should be sticking up for our freedom of speech? And also, I mean, how important is it Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, fam? I mean, come on.
Especially
this is
to us. I mean, it is definitely important as, people in media, as journalists. It's like,
yes.
if they go after him, that's it.
Yes.
That's it. We're done. And the thing is, Donald Trump has the ability to actually
absolutely
have a legacy.
All his buddies.
Not only that, but he could get, if he gets out of office, he could get all those people on his side.
Yeah.
If he wants to run again, because he technically could run again.
Oh, yeah.
And he would get all those people on his side. It would actually be a very politically strategic move.
But how far do you go when you challenge the intelligence community? This is a big move. If you pardon Snowden and Assange, that is huge. But it's really important. He is out of office. So I hope he does it. He's pardoning Flynn, Stone, all these other people. Let's do that. Come on. These people hate you. They worked against you. Let's kick them right. You know where?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's going to do it because I think there's too much. Like you said, like it would be a political suicide in terms of the establishment for him. But
thank you, Tulsi, for talking about this.
Yeah, thank you, Tulsi, for talking about it. And of course, the New York Newsweek actually did a whole report on it, pretty much saying the same thing that we just said. I just wanted to show you guys that the Newsweek actually did publish this report. As a reminder, Assange is currently in Belmarsh prison in the United Kingdom, and it's facing extradition into the U.S. on charges referring to leaks relating to the leaks that Chelsea Manning had. He had taken a refuge in Ecuador, as you guys know, but of course the Ecuadorian government had granted him asylum, but it was revoked with the new incoming president.
Yeah, that's right.
And Snowden actually spoke to Glenn Greenwald this Wednesday about how whistleblowers will be treated once former VP Biden assumes office. So I wanted to also show a little bit of how people on Twitter took to talking about this, because a lot of people may not necessarily like or agree with Donald Trump, but are really jumping into this whole, pardon Assange, Trump, pardon Assange, please, pardon Assange. And it's important to note that specifically right now.
I got it for you right here.
Okay, so Christine Assange is Julian Assange's mother. Aww. And she stated that all I want for Christmas is to see the sun on my son's face again. And of course, January 4th will be the verdict coming in from the UK that we're going to be seeing. And
that's hard, right? That's hard to look at. That's hard. That's a mother. That's a mother crying.
He's a journalist.
He's
an Australian journalist.
Publisher that he just. This makes me want to cry how important this is, because if it's important to us, not just because we're a media fam, it's important to you out there watching, because we're going to tell you the truth. What do you talk about? The fourth estate, how important that is to bring the truth, to hold the government accountable. Now they're eliminating us, censoring us. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. And you on the left, if you are on the left, the real left, you better get with it, because if they do this to this man, they can do this to anybody, and you'll never know anything. It'd be nothing but eating zombie pudding and just walking like a sheep.
Right. And it's not just about Julian Assange. That's the thing. That's what people need to understand when people are like, well, there are other important things. This is about freedom of speech. This is about freedom of the press. This is about fascism, fighting fascism in that way.
Real fascism.
Through censorship. And so Taylor actually posted that, wow, there was this trending on pardoning Assange. Assange was trending, and Snowden was also trending, because people were also asking for pardons for Edward Snowden. And
one above it? No.
This next one is also from Christine Assange.
You skipped that one, though. Johnny's getting the last the Libertarian Party up. No, go to the.
Okay, so here, you just read it up there.
Okay, I can't. We are grateful to those who have exposed what ways that our government has lied to and knowingly harmed the American people. We join Tulsi Gabbard, Matt Gaetz, and Representative Thomas Massie from Kentucky in calling for a complete pardon for Edward Snowden and Julian Assange. I had to put out these from Kentucky, baby.
No, I had to let you read that, because it was the libertarian one.
You just said you're more libertarian than me in some ways.
No, I meant on the left. Like, I'm very anti-authoritarian, fam. But It's really sad that people on the left are like literally like not talking about this.
Yeah.
Like, where is everybody? Where is the squad? Where are progressives? Why aren't you talking about this? Just, I know you don't like Trump, but if he does this, it's not going to change my opinion on him. It's just going to be like, okay, it's a political move. Great. Goodbye. And now that's it. It would actually be beneficial to him, like I said. Christina Assange also thanked everybody for asking President Trump to pardon her son, Julian Assange. She said, while being strong and passionate, please also remember to be respectful. Thank you. And pardon Assange, please. #save Julian.
She's been this way the whole time. She's always been saying, don't lash out at people. Don't get mad at people. Even if they don't agree with us, let's just talk this through. She has been an angel in this whole situation. And I feel for you, Christine. I hope one day you do get to see your son, the light hit his face. And we're going to continue talking about it and bringing it up and supporting the people who do talk about this. We're very supportive for the action for Assange people, not because we like them, but it's because we believe their message is so important that we have to constantly elevate it, because that's something also on the left that nobody else is talking about as well. It's been a shame, because we're at this point, fam, right now. It's like, I feel like we're politically homeless, right? We don't have anywhere to go. We've seen a lot of people we had on the left that we thought were marching on the same page as us, just not even pay attention to this stuff, to get hoodwinked by the whole, we're fighting fascism in Donald Trump, but like, look at what the Democratic Party is doing. And you're sitting there and you're supporting them, and you're actually applauding this whole situation where the machine is trying to take back over and come right back into play, and forget about it. Right now, we're already experiencing the censorship. It's just going to get worse under Joe Biden. And Whitney Webb said that. So.
Yeah, we're fighting fascism, and you have to fight fascism on the entire spectrum, not just on one spectrum. Stella Morris said, these are Julian's sons, Max and Gabriel. They need their father. Our family needs to be whole again. I beg you, please bring home for Christmas. Please bring him home for Christmas, Trump. And so she said, pardon Assange, free Assange now. And those are his kids. Those are his kids, you guys. I mean, it doesn't hit any more home than that for being a journalist, And Ajam Mubarak always has something good to say. And I just wanted to read him. I echo the call for full pardon for Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, and reparations for Chelsea Manning, who also, of course, suffered during her tenure as well.
He should run for the Green Party president.
Yeah.
I mean, really, Ajamu, you're awesome. Why don't you run? Don't get lost in the sauce, Ajamu.
So Alex Knight said...
Hey, Alex Knight, we're playing your tweet here.
While Tulsi Gabbard is out there doing the real work, like wanting to pardon Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, AOC is tweeting about playing Among Us, and all his supporters and the so-called progressives go crazy and love it. Somebody please fucking kill me. Well, we're not going to kill you, but I understand your frustration.
There's
AOC,
talking about?
Canadian members of Parliament and U.S. members of Congress venting each other into space. What could go wrong? I'm in Jagmeet Singh, and there it is, and they're going to play with Hassan Piker, Among Us, and they're going to do a live stream. Yes, this is Among Us.
Oh, geez.
But there's nothing more important right now than doing that. I mean, there's nothing more important happening. So I just wanted to throw that tweet in there. And the last one, and I think this tweet by Misty echoes exactly how we're feeling right now, what you just said. You okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
As someone who resides in the very bottom left-hand corner of the political foursquare, that's me, the very, very corner outside, it's endlessly depressing to realize I have more luck with the right/libertarians on the issues of free speech and press, and also election integrity, let me add that, than I do with progressives.
So true.
It's not a partisan issue, or at least it shouldn't be, but it's still sad to watch people who should be allies and comrades be such shit on such a crucial issue. I mean, this speaks to me so much, Misty. I mean, I just can't tell you, our conversation yesterday or a couple days ago. I lost track of time. But like, it's so frustrating to me to be like, seriously, like the leftists have left, but on the corner of anti-authoritarianism. And because I'm there, nobody is there with me on the left. Like very few people like yourselves are, but the vast majority of people make free speech an issue that is only a right-wing issue, or like issue that's being politicized now as a right. They've actually maligned it the establishment has maligned it to that point. Same with election integrity now. It's getting to be in that place, and it's so wrong, and it's so sad that these people should be our allies, our comrades, and they're literally being hoodwinked by the establishment into authoritarian ways of thinking.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because on the left, they are not there when it comes to our civil liberties and freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and talking up for Julian Assange. And I'm talking about all our people that we thought were our people. I'm not anymore. Bernie Sanders, the fraud squad, none of them talking about this. They're awful on foreign policy. They're not there with us there. They're lost in the sauce, and then all here comes election integrity. Like 3 of my biggest issues, the Democratic Party or the left of the Democratic Party in the United States has just completely abandoned us, and that's why I'm never going to be back in that party. I'm never going to support anybody of that party, and it's sad to see people become party loyalists and actually being hypocritical of what's right and what's wrong. It shouldn't be a partisan issue when it comes to our elections. It shouldn't be a partisan issue when it comes to freedom of speech, freedom of press. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it is. And like you said, people are getting maligned for this, and it's just disgusting. And I feel very confident right now walking away from this party for good because they are truly disgusting. All the leadership there, everything they're doing. Across the board. And we witnessed this in the last several years as we've been doing the show. When we first started the show, I thought they would be for election integrity. I thought they would fight for our civil liberties and not let them censor. I thought they would be more, better and be more peace advocates when it comes to foreign policy. And actually now we're watching somebody who's ready to come in, and Anthony Blinken, who's more of a war hawk, and he comes up very cryptic and nice and friendly because he goes on friggin' Sesame Street with Grover. And that is worse because you can do much damage because what happens? Everybody goes back to sleep. They're already having brunch with David Doel, whatever his name is. Have a good time with that one, my friend.
Yeah, and it's, again, you guys, and I was talking to Glory Jones about this last night a little bit, like how, we have to become post-partisan, and that doesn't mean I'm going to change my left-wing ideology to reflect a right-wing ideology. That simply means we need to talk to people who we disagree with on other issues, but we may disagree with on some of these issues, and come back together and go fight the oligarchy together. And in order to achieve the things that I want in my ideology, it's not going to happen until we combat forces with some people and just fight the system. And we're not going to fight the system if people keep getting hoodwinked back into the Democratic Party or the Democratic establishment or the Republican establishment. I mean, there's just a war there too. It's both sides of the establishment. It's one establishment that continues and benefits off of us hating each other, off of us, having misinformation on certain sides. And it's like, that's why it's so difficult what we do, because we actually try to find the truth. We don't just like spin the same exact narrative that mainstream media does, only a little bit more progressive sounding. That's not what we do here. We look at the truth on both sides. That's why we have multiple sources from different areas, because it's not just one thing. And this is what the news is supposed to be like. I'm not trying to throw, accolades at us, but this is what the news is supposed to be: independent. It's supposed to be non-biased. It's supposed to be, even though I have a left-wing ideology, I'm comfortable calling them out when I see the authoritarianism encroaching it. I'm not going to not do that because I consider myself on the left, etc. So I think that's something that people need to understand. Like, yes, we all have implicit bias, but like when it comes to finding the truth, when it comes to saying the things that are happening, you cannot let that blind you in any way, shape, or form if you're going to call yourself the real media, the fourth estate.